Hey guys, this is Steven with Team Covenant here to give some commentary on a game that is going to be insane, and I'm joined by Zach.
Hello, everybody.
And hello, Zach. You're in this game, so we have a nice little perspective from you on this. We've got you. You were top 16 at Worlds, which congratulations again on that.
Thank you very much.
Dennis, who is, as most watching know, the world champion. If you didn't know that, then you can see there on the playmat that it's a real thing that actually happened. And you guys are facing off here at our top 8, the Winter League. This is 2014, and I'm quite interested to see how this goes. Are these more or less the same decks that we saw at Worlds from you guys?
They're similar. What's interesting about this point in the game, and this is kind of the finale of this era, there hadn't really been any packs out in a while, so the card pool is the same as it was at Worlds. I know my dark deck is actually the exact same list I was running at Worlds. I actually switched it up on the light side, but this is the same list I was running. I'm pretty sure Dennis is pretty close. He made one adjustment with the Balance of the Force coming out.
Nice.
He added the Blue Squadron support objective set.
All right. And so opening it up here, Ghost of the Dark Side, follow the Jedi Imperial Command, all things that I've certainly seen before. And then we have Defensive Yavin 4, Raise the Stakes, and then what is that guy up there? Far
It's
left.
the Renegade Squadron.
Yeah, that's the one. I was like, I know that I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Mobilization.
Yeah.
Who do you think gets the better of this opening objective set?
I think I have the better objectives. Defensive Yavin 4 is maybe one of the best objectives on the light side, and Dennis has that, and that's usually the key. If you get that out, you're doing well. But he didn't see across the Anduit, which is a big loss for him at this point. I have card draw, I have resources, and I have a way to keep balance without having to commit too much. So I think it's pretty equal, but I would say the edge at this point is in my favor, especially seeing that I have two Stormtroopers.
All right, so 2 Stormtroopers, and these guys really seem to be the key piece in stopping the Sleuth rush. And, what's interesting to me is that you play the units first, and then you play your resource. I think a lot of people, myself included, would play out all my resources and then react. And is this in response to maybe a swindled play or something of that nature so that you could then react by putting something else on the board, or was it just happenstance?
Well, I was still, if you look at my hand, I actually have Darth Vader and his lightsaber in my hand. So I had the option here of playing 2 Stormtroopers or playing Vader, or using the Sith Holocron to get Vader out and his lightsaber. And I could have done both, but the problem is I played... The other interesting thing about this meta not changing is also the fact that Dennis and I play every week.
Yeah,
we
what's
end
going
up
on.
probably seeing each other every Tuesday night at the weekly Star Wars event. So we know each other's decks really well. He's running the Sleuths. There's no way I'm only going to have Vader out on my first turn. And I was deciding whether to put Sith Holocron out at all, because he could potentially get rid of it before his next turn. But ultimately, I hate sitting on cards in this game, so I'll dump it all day long. So
Dennis comes out with a Sleuth Scout, and looks like he's discarding a card for Yavin 4 for the Renegade Squadron Escort there.
So important.
And it's such a good card there, especially when you're going to droid upgrade your Sleuth. I mean, you got to protect those guys. And that's going to be a good answer to Vader and his lightsaber, assuming that he comes out next turn. That protect's going to be a big deal.
All right, so he's swinging at...
Goes to the dark side.
Just with the Sleuth Scout.
2 cards for the edge battle on his side, 3 cards for you.
It's important to note Dennis does not have open resources here.
Already, this is a very intense edge battle.
It is.
At a level of play like this, I feel like this edge battle could just as easily be the entire game. Just that opening momentum. If the Sleuths get going, if the Renegade Squadrons, if all that just gets going, it's hard to slow it down if they have that early rush. But I feel like if you're able to fight this off, it's going to look a lot better for you next turn as you come in with Vader, lightsaber, do some targeted strikes. Defending
like
with both.
Yep. It's big. It makes this edge battle huge. He's only got 2 cards, and I have Twist and Vader and his lightsaber, so I'm pretty comfortable.
Yep. And it's twisted.
So he's down to 1 card. He's passing.
Passing completely, so they're going to yield the edge battle to you, huh?
Yeah, he's got the Protector, so he can divide the damage 1-1, and then kill my other Stormtrooper before I get a strike. So he's still going to get... It's pretty solid for him. He's going to do a bunch of damage, and then he can also swing with the other unit for unopposed, who has the unopposed bonus. So he'll be able to get 5 damage here if he wants it.
And he's not.
Well, he thinks he's taking the balance, but...
Oh, what a mistake. There it is. I mean, I think you swing there.
Oh, did I not block with the other Stormtrooper?
Uh-oh.
No, that's the one that was focused. He killed the other one.
Yeah,
that's correct. I'm curious why he did that. I feel like I remember him doing it and then realizing it wasn't taking balance, and he's like, I'll just do it anyway, because he did.
Yeah.
In the essence of not taking a take back.
Now, if you... That was an interesting first turn there. Man, this game is crazy.
I think you swing. So we'll see what happens. But I know I have Vader and his lightsaber here with the Sith Holocron. Should be a big turn for me to kind of
this would be a home run.
Shut down the board.
And this is pretty much the standard. I think anyone who was attending Worlds or was making their way through Worlds, playing the Star Wars card game, you're gonna see a lot of boards that look pretty much identical to this throughout your entire journey through that tournament. This was just, I think everyone's pretty much agreed that these decks, at least in this style, maybe one or two objective sets here or there, are definitely the strongest decks in the format. And what's interesting to me is the deck that you're running, that Dennis is running on the dark side, is probably the best counter to Sleuths, but still an imperfect counter. It still doesn't make Sleuths risky enough to not run.
Absolutely.
And that's saying something about that card.
It has answers. It's not the answer. It just has the potential to answer. And I mean, I think the Matt Cole's dark side deck, which he leans towards the TIE Attack Squadrons instead of Executor and whatnot, is also just as potent right now. And I think it can handle... It depends on when you draw certain things, but it can handle the Sleuths just as easily.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of do you get the damage or not, or enough damage or not on the board.
Vader swinging here. Opposing with the Renegade Squadron Escort.
Interesting choice. I'm just passing because,
Yeah. Why bother?
Looks like Dennis is discarding cards. It's interesting because a heat of battle there just totally destroys him. If I had heat of battle, then I get rid of both his units. The Protector is going to be double focused. I have to get rid of that Sleuth with that enhancement.
Oh, yeah.
That's just...
Yeah, too big of a threat there.
Too much. And I damage raise the stakes, which is my ultimate goal. And, I mean, it's kind of what you want, right? Like, I had 2 open resources there I didn't spend, but...
And it's looking like Orbital Bombardment in hand.
Yeah, I remember looking at that hand. I remember debating. I could have played the Executor that turn, but opted for Vader with targeted strike.
Yeah. Not a bad choice. Dennis's hand here, I would say that's not exactly the draw that he wants to see. Looks like he does have the Swindled, but as far as the offensive punch that he's looking for, he's got a lot of those undercover operatives.
Which I haven't spent all my resources, so they actually cost. Normally they would be free. So yeah, this is a very not optimal hand for him.
He's a Renegade Squadron.
But that's what's really interesting about the game, is that you do have to run a certain amount of cards that you may not otherwise have put in the deck.
Yeah. He may just discard those operatives to reduce the cost of that ship there.
Yeah. I mean, Renegade Squadron is not awful. It's a high health card that's going to be able to stay on the board. He's going to be able to focus Vader down if he can win an edge battle against me for basically the next turn and maybe in perpetuity, but we'll see.
So discards 3 cards to reduce the cost. Yeah. And it was the undercover operatives. Makes sense. And we got another card coming out. No. And he swindled
the Stormtrooper. Yep. So there's going to be no way for me to win that edge battle. When a unit leaves play, he's triggering the to draw a card, which got him the resource.
Got him a free resource.
Boom.
So
and
you
he gets
can't
to check out my hand.
Ooh, that's power. So Dennis probably feeling okay here.
Yeah, being able to lock Vader down here is just huge.
Vader gets focused down. And Dennis finds a way. This is, I think, why he was the champ. He tends to somehow find a way to put himself into winning positions out of hands that you might not think are optimal, but he makes it work. Spy coming in there on fall.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, a huge part of this game, because of the draw mechanic and drawing so many cards a turn, is being able to assess pretty quickly what's in your hand, what's worth playing in the right order. I think timing in this game is just such a fundamental part of victory. What order to do certain things in.
And Orbital Bombardment, was that the one that went under there?
It was.
Oh my.
4-cost Orbital doesn't really do much when you have a focused Vader out.
Yeah. And it's all, and this is a good lesson to learn, I think, in Star Wars, one that I'm consistently learning, is playing for the moment. You're playing turn by turn rather than holding cards for 3 or 4 turns to have an answer to something. Very hard lesson to learn for old school card gamers like myself, but it's certainly a new way to play. It's a new mechanic and worth exploring.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing, especially against these sleuth scouts. If you don't draw 2-cost units, he can blow up a lot of objectives really quickly.
Yes.
So you just have to start. You have to dig. If not, you lose.
There's Mahdi. And we're going to see hopefully another 2-cost. I think Sith Apprentice. Also have 2 resources open on Mahdi. Curious if you're going to use them. There they go. So Stormtrooper and Apprentice get to come out there, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Get those 2 costs out. Slow the momentum down.
Yeah, and now it's going to be really hard to lock Vader down because I can trigger Mahdi to unfocus him. So that's a solid turn.
Solid turn. And don't think there's any attacks to be had here. That's just my my initial thought, but...
You, sir, are correct.
Let's see if... no, you're going to commit to the Force here on the Apprentice.
Yeah.
You're going to flip it to dark side from dark side.
Keeping it on the dark side.
Keep it on the dark side. And Dennis gets to draw a fresh hand, something really terrifying whenever you're on the dark side watching.
Oh, man. Watching from this angle is so much more terrifying. Those cards are good.
Look at a Sleuth and another Escort.
Man, the escorts are annoying.
Oh, they're so good. Just a critical piece of this puzzle. Again, not really having to go very far to find the synergy. The smugglers taking care of themselves. There's the Sleuth.
One of the really interesting things about the Sleuth Scout deck is a lot of times you find the player, and myself included, not having much to defend with.
Yeah.
Because you kind of use it all on offense. And I'll be curious here to see what balance
Escort.
Dennis strikes. I think the Renegade Squadron is a great blocker just because of the health and the icons, but I'm really curious to see what he does here.
Assuming Dio goes up to 7 next turn, which is a safe assumption. He does have to be a little bit careful. He can knock off 3 objectives.
You can win from there, yeah.
Orbital Bombardment looks really good there. And Dennis kind of figuring out the battle math here. Renegade Squadron, a tempting opener simply because that focus icon can affect what can later block those sleuths or the one sleuth that's out.
Yeah,
Maybe force you to put the Apprentice on one. He could take the Force back here if he absolutely wanted to. I don't know that that's in his best interest. And Renegade Squadron Escort, although playing a critical protect role, also bringing a black objective damage.
He does indeed have that.
I think damage and raise the stakes makes that math a little bit better for you.
Wow.
And some crazy math going on here.
He's stacking it up. Maybe he's going to go all of them and Fall of the Jedi.
It would be nice. It's always good to get Fall out of there.
He is sending all 3 at Fall of the Jedi. That's a call. So 3 objective damage. If it's unopposed, it'll end up being 4.
Not a bad move here, actually.
Yeah, it kind of puts me in a weird spot because if I block with 1, if I don't block, he can tactics my guys down and then just get unopposed. If I do block, it's a fine balance because you don't want to just lose your units for no reason this turn.
Yeah, and it looks like that could easily happen. He's got 2 unit damage showing on the board there. You oppose with only 1, he could easily just focus it down or kill it. And get the unopposed anyway. You're not going to kill anything if his attacking with that protector sitting over there. It looks good. Now, of course, a heat of battle or something could certainly change this.
Could swing things around. But the interesting part, if he does, I think this may be a decision that has to be made. If I don't block and he does tactic down both of my guys, that means that I have a fresh board coming into the next turn.
Yep.
and he's not locking down Mahdi like he can potentially do here. So I may give it to him and just stay on the defensive and block to save Ghost of the Dark Side to make sure I have balance.
Yeah.
It's kind of this is the point.
This really does get to the heart of the decisions that you're making in this game, and it's unlike anything else really. This kind of decision is it feels very thematic. I'll say it's are you going to give this objective up? I think Dennis wants you to oppose here. I think his math and his brain was planning on, well, Zach will oppose with both of these guys, or maybe he'll oppose with one, and I've done that as well. You start throwing units in to account for situations that could arise, and then your opponent doesn't do what you expected it whenever you started that chain of reasoning. So I would be tempted to give this one up here, like you said, and just let Vader run wild next turn.
And he will.
Take out one of the protectors, and you could risk the 3 objective win.
Looks like I'm blocking with a Stormtrooper for some odd reason.
All right. You've out-logicked yourself in the commentary.
I think I see an aggression in my hand. So I'm planning on playing aggression. I'll get a trigger Vader. If I can get some damage on the board, I'll really be able to kind of lock him down. And then if I draw into a force shockwave, a couple damage spread around here could be a huge swing in the game. So ultimately, I don't know if it was sound logic, but I think my logic was I wanted to get damage on the board, and I was willing to give up a Stormtrooper to do it.
Like a true Imperial commander. Is that a target?
That was a target.
All right.
I may regret that later. So he won with 4. We'll see what he does.
Focus Renegade first.
So he's doing 1 of the Stormtrooper, 1 of the objective. And we'll see where those all-important tactics icons go.
It does 2 exhaustions.
2 exhaustions.
We're going to go both on Vader.
Both on Vader.
Vader Mahdi only one choice.
That's going to leave Mahdi locked down.
Or is it?
Or is it? I think it is.
I would agree.
All right, doing 1.
I'm doing 1 of the protector, which forces him to either kill a protector or have his protector down at 1 health.
And then 1 for unopposed.
Will be 1 for he'll blow it up.
Yep.
Yeah. So getting, and again, even if you're going to lose as a side, especially as light side, getting those objectives destroyed is so massive. If he draws into a Rebel Assault next turn, he can guarantee he got 2 objectives down.
Yeah.
So that's a really strong play. Now I'm thinking here, I've got Executor and Aggression in my hand. I remember not seeing Executor Arrives in my initial draw, so I have 2 of those in my objective deck. I'm kind of hoping that I pop 1 out, and then I may unfocus Mahdi so that I get Executor Aggression off.
That looks good.
Yeah, that's this line of thinking is, it's tough. So like if you.
And Dennis missing the Renegade Squadron mobilization trigger.
He is renowned for that.
It is just, if you're ever on the live stream watching these Star Wars games, Dennis is a master at missing that Renegade Squadron trigger.
It's the Renegade, the Asteroid Sanctuary, and the Council of the Sith.
Yeah.
I'm not. He's so funny about it because every time he just freaks out because he forgot it.
Oh, it's so annoying missing those triggers.
Yeah. Looks like he sent the vehicle protector down at my bottom objective. And I had to decide to block.
Giving it up.
And I would focus down twice, and he could just protect it and still blow up the objective. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation. If 2 Executor Arrives do pop out here, it could be good.
And Dennis planning for the shockwave here. He puts the force on both of those protectors.
He's had shockwave ruin his day 1 too many times. Let's see what I get.
Oh yeah, no Sith.
No Sith resources.
Sith. Wow.
So those are the only 3 non-Sith in the deck
I'm good with that.
at this point, and that's truly unfortunate with Executor and Aggression in my hand.
That's crazy.
I can't even play Aggression.
In that case.
Well, that changes things, man. Wow. And it seems like a whole turn planning for aggression, and then
not.
Just awful.
Yeah. And because he's destroyed 2 objectives, there's no way a third is going to get destroyed without me losing. So I will not have Sith resources for the rest of the game.
For the rest of the game, yeah. What a crazy system.
Use the aggression.
What a crazy objective system.
I'm like
man.
Force Shockwave.
Just rubbing salt in that wound, man. Well, that's something there.
That is something. So at this point, it is not looking good for me. The only choice I really have here is just to go for objectives. I need to get that dial as high as I can get. Because the tiebreaker, if I lose here, is going to come down to who can get the dial higher. And I'm going to try to get it to 8. Yeah, it's like get it to 8.
How's it going, bud?
Liaison.
Because, I mean, with Dennis's board out that he has right here, right? Like, surely.
Reconnaissance, nice.
Yeah, surely he's going to be able to destroy an objective, right? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He just needs to win an edge battle, basically, and he can.
That is unfortunate.
He can win a game. So it's important to note in our league format, the finals, it's double elimination, and I made it in. I was the 1 seed, and I got to the finals without losing. So to lose this, I would have to lose 2 matches in a row.
Yeah.
So Dennis is gonna have to win this match, and then assuming we go to match 2, would have to win that match as well to win the tournament. Wanted to note that.
Yeah. So I don't know that you can play anything else in your hand here.
No, I can't.
Well, you can sure win an edge battle.
The only way I'm going to be able to play a Sith card is if I draw my other Sith holocron. Yep.
Yep.
That's a thing.
But they're there because you ran 3 non-Sith.
And you do have to kind of wonder about the golden ratio of 3 and 7, because sometimes it will, but maybe 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30.
Well,
I'm sure.
so I mean, the scenario is, right, I draw 4 objectives, and there's 1 non-Sith in that pile that I kept, which was Imperial Command. Because the other option was Emperor's Web, which is a 4 health thing, and against
Don't
Sleuths
want
that can be bad.
Nope.
So you keep the 1, and that means that you have 6 objectives left. And 1 of 3, so 2 of 6 of those objectives are non-Sith. And to draw 2 in the same turn, and for it to be those 2,
Pretty rare.
it's actually 1 in 15.
1 in 15.
I think it's the right mass. 1 in 3 times 1 in 5.
Did you see what I had?
For it to happen after you've only seen 1 of them in your initial 4.
Things to do, and I'm like, I can't play.
I don't know about all that boy stuff, but you're gonna have to destroy at least 1 objective.
At least 1. I mean,
just get something done here.
yeah, and he's only got the Bothan Spy. So
I'll tell you what, that card that you chucked earlier is that 4 cost.
what was it called?
What was
Orbital
that
Bond.
one?
What?
That seems really, really pretty useful to you here.
It wouldn't have been the worst thing to have at this moment. No.
Keep looking at those cards, man. They are Sith resources.
One thing I was considering doing here is sacking the ISB Liaison just to draw a card and see if it's the Sith holocron.
That seems reasonable.
Because that's an out. If I can draw that, it would let me at least get something
You
going.
could play the Executor at that point, could you not?
No, you have to have the Sith resource still.
Right.
It would reduce it by 3, but you just have to pay 5 with 1 being a Sith. But the Shockwave is only 3, so you can reduce it to 0.
So Holocron, of course, being the next Sith card. Interesting.
It's gonna go unopposed.
Huh.
Yeah.
What a tight spot.
I ultimately decided the odds were not in my favor to do that.
2, and then
So raise the stakes.
come on, Anowit.
Out of there.
Dennis gave it to me. He could have blocked with that Bothan and maybe won an edge battle. I think he wanted to keep the cards in his hand.
I think he wants you to keep the cards in your hand, too.
Yeah, and I think really too, if he can get a cross the Anduit or another raise the stakes, it would put me in a real bind because I only have the ISP Liaison. If he draws Rebel Assault or if he draws Swindled, I can't block.
Yeah. Oof. And you're sitting on what looks like 2 heated battles in hand there? Liaison's committing to the Force. Hilarious. Like to see the theme behind that.
So literally, I mean,
And prepare for evac.
That's not what you want.
Man, okay. So this is doable.
But if he literally a Rebel Assault or
Or a Swindle, this game is
Swindle.
over.
Well,
yeah.
it's not over, I guess. I got rid of one of his units and the other one's double focused here. So he doesn't have the objective damage on the table. He would have to draw one of those cards and play enough objective damage.
Well, it looks like another Sleuth coming out and another Escort and a couple heated battles there.
Surely
maybe.
you can get that done, right?
I think, again, heated battle, another card that's going to make this math not great for you.
So the die is 8, which is not fantastic.
It's not great.
You can win. Oh, man.
Oh, baby. Hello. Just red 2. I feel like that ability, red 2 actually not
doing much here.
really a big deal here.
It is an objective damage, though. The interesting part is he has to win the edge battle, right? Unless he can bounce me. He's saving 1 of his smuggler resources to either swindle or looks like trick me into a swindle.
I mean, at this point, there is no trick.
Yeah,
You don't have a choice. There's no decision to be made here. You're blocking with everything, which is the liaison.
Yeah.
Everything becomes one lowly dude.
It looks like he has 2 Battle of Hoths, that's 6 edge icons.
Well, it's going to come down to it here. And he's got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 objective damage, 5 for unopposed, which he can easily get the unopposed, but can he win the edge battle?
See, I don't know why he didn't. He has 1 resource open. He could have played that other sleuth in his hand to discard a card. And then he could have gone with Renegade first to focus down my guy.
There it is.
Had unopposed for 5.
Not yet.
But
That does look better to me.
yeah, I'm really surprised. He doesn't even need to win an edge battle at that point. So I'm really curious about that. Maybe he just missed it. I think I have
You
a
have
twist.
to take that playmat from Dennis. You're not supposed to miss anything, man. Double pass and the twist.
Yeah.
All in.
He's got his 1-3 left, and I'm just dumping my hand.
Yeah.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with 2 heats. I win with 2 heats. Oh, that's huge.
Man, that's a big deal. Well, at least you'll get the protector, at least one protector off the board, yeah.
Well, he's going to protect 1. Yeah, with the other. But he will not have the objective damage here. I'm really just shocked he didn't play that other sleuth and attack with the Renegade first. And at that point, I'm wanting to clear my hand. I'm trying to find orbital bombardment. I don't know if you know this or not.
Yeah, and then you're going to pop him and draw, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes too much sense.
Strike for 1 against the other Renegade.
That's what it is.
Look at the top card of his deck, and then I draw. So now
And
this is interesting.
Did Dennis hit his trigger here? Because a unit left play, right? Renegade Squadron?
I think in a minute he will make it known that he did not.
Vader.
Love it.
Yeah, a little mad. Yeah, sure.
Love it. What? I'm waiting now. I'm just waiting. And
Strike here for nothing. And then 1 part post. Yep. Then I will.
Wow. So if I can draw orbital, this game
Man.
may just come in my favor.
that looked a lot better than I originally thought.
Dials at 9.
I didn't draw.
And I think we can call that a mistake on Dennis's end for not playing that sleuth. I think that was absolutely the play there.
I think he had a lane, he just didn't use it. So I'm going to need something here. I need dudes and I need orbital to have a shot. I don't see orbital. Oh, there it is. Money maker. And I also have a dark precog, so... Oh, man. Can I get 2 objectives here?
The last card drawn is the orbital. Amazing.
Sweet. I can play that dark precog and trigger Vader. I also have a force choke, which is worth noting, because I can do that on his turn.
You know, you're talking about this game as if you don't remember it. I have to believe you know how this ends.
I don't remember what happens here. I know the result.
There's been a lot of drinking since then.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of booze. There's also been 2 tournaments in which I played Dennis since then.
Yeah, so who knows? It all blends together. Same deck, same opponent. Well, I'm curious. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Dude, why am I not dark precogging, getting that Bothan out of here, and then it's unopposed? He can't do anything. Get him out of here.
You're just thinking.
I think, actually, I want to...
You want to choke that Bothan.
I want to choke the Bothan, but I don't want to do that till his turn. So I may choke first, carry damage over to the Sleuth or something, and then dark precog.
Leading with the precog. Yeah, you're going to trigger Vader on a vehicle. You don't really... I don't think you really want Red 5 to unfocus when you kill an objective this turn.
That is correct, because I'm going to need to destroy 2.
Yeah.
So I absolutely need to force choke it. It looks like I have another liaison, force lightning doing nothing, heat of battle.
There's a neutral.
Liaison. And giving another great opportunity for Dennis to miss this trigger.
It is, and it's, again, considering here with the liaison, I may use him. The question is, do you trigger him now and hope you draw something with objective damage, right?
Yeah.
Like I could draw the Coruscant, whatever. It's basically that Dark Apprentice up there, except for neutral, and that could potentially get you extra objective damage, but it's really hard to risk. You just don't know what you're gonna draw, especially when you can't play Sith cards. Man, look at that hand. If I had Sith resources, this is amazing.
It looks good. Yeah. Got to hold 4 for the orbital. Leaves you with 4 open.
Well, I kind of want to save Madi. So
yeah, you do.
The only thing I'm really going to play here is orbital. I don't. There's nothing else in my hand to play. But if you look at the math, that's really not quite enough to get it done. Vader and the ISB can get 1, or Vader and Madi. I'm not going to be able to 2-up. But the question here is, who do you not attack with, Madi or the ISB liaison?
Yeah.
Because if you leave the liaison, then you can't block if he draws into Rebel Assault or Swindled.
Yeah.
But if you leave Madi, you can block. You just can't block Sleuth. But he's going to need to attack with more than a Sleuth.
Yeah, and the Rebel Assault still hits Madi. We haven't seen a Rebel Assault yet.
We have not.
So you can only assume the chances of the next 6 cards, at least 1 Rebel Assault is there.
But which one do you not block with here? Which one do you leave unfocused? Also important to note, Madi has 2 health. Could be a thing.
Could be a thing. Vader's going to do some work on this board. You still have the Force Choke in hand.
I do have the Force Choke.
Gonna wait
Vader's
on
also
that.
going to targeted strike. So
Clear the Sleuth out and then leave Madi up. Seems like a good...
it seems like a plan.
And
because
then-
there's 3 Sleuths in his discard, I believe.
Yeah, you'll Force Choke in the red 2 with his reaction, get rid of the Spy and the red 2 on his turn.
And he's going to have to figure it out somehow.
Looks pretty good.
Man, I'm just glad he doesn't have Echo Caverns. That would ruin my day.
Well, he might soon. But yes, that card gets out early. It does some serious work. And
Looks like
we
I'm
called
leaving
it.
Madi.
You're really good at figuring out what you're going to do.
It's almost like it's me.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I think ultimately I decided to leave Madi just because I know there's Swindles left in his deck. And if he's going to use Rebel Assault, I'd rather him have to use it on Madi and not on an objective.
Yes.
So Daw's going to go to 11. Somehow, going into dial at 7 on my turn, no Sith resources.
Looks no good. But
I have gotten the dial to 11.
And looks like you were looking for red 2 there.
I think Dennis was hoping. I blew up the objective. He was taking the focus off. Is
Yeah.
why he was. I think another good reason to keep Madi how he was is I can commit Madi, and he provides me 3 Force icons. I can't take the Force with just the ISB liaison.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, the real question you got to ask yourself is, you're wanting to take the Force here as a preventative measure to keep him from damaging an objective, which makes a lot of sense. And then in the grand scheme of things, past that, the Force doesn't matter to you at all. You're at 11, you know?
It matters 0. Only preventing the damage. And I'm saving the Force Choke here to trigger Vader's response on his turn. You also just never know what you're going to see. There's no reason to waste.
Another evac.
Man, I'm sure he would love Anduit there. But there's a lot of times you want to go ahead and play Vader stuff just to trigger it because it feels safer. But no. Sometimes it's worth saving. I saw Cloud City Operative, another great reason to leave Madi. Because you can't Cloud City Operative onto a Madi.
Yeah. And choosing the Force Choke there.
Yeah.
For deployment. What's the idea there?
I don't have no idea what the idea there is. I should save it for battle. There's just no reason. That's a mistake. I think I got a little too giddy. And I triggered liaison here like an idiot and let Dennis draw.
Hey, at least he got one, man.
Yeah. I don't know what he was drawing there, but I was like, oh man, I hope I didn't just give you the game. I just said that.
He drew the Rebel Assault off of that, by the way.
That's terrible.
I'll have you know that the card that he drew just then was Rebel Assault. Amazing. You guys are playing like a bunch of fools.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's just a plain mistake right there.
Basically, what this tells anybody watching, the door is wide open to sweep in here and take the World Championship next year. There's plenty of room to...
Well, I mean, I think what happened is Dennis forgot that trigger so often, I forgot he had it. You know what I mean? It's like,
That was his grand plan.
It's like, oh yeah, you do get a draw when I trigger this. I had no idea. You haven't done this once all game.
It's the grand plan. He is. Maybe that's why he's the world champ. It's all a mind game, really.
It is a mind game. I will say, if I had any Hoth objectives out, this would be terrifying.
Yeah, it'd be a little scary. What's he going to do?
He has Echo Caverns. The problem is I don't have any vehicles for him to rob.
I feel like at this point he drew into a lot of control, but no objective damage, really. I mean, Rebel Assault's going to do some work. He only needs one. I mean, he's going to get it this turn. There's no way to stop him from getting it.
I think you have
turn.
to Cloud City.
You focus Monty down, right?
You can't. It has to be a 2 class.
Ah, that's right.
But you bring it in, you attack with it, then whatever. If I don't block with Monty, you focus me down. If I do block, well, it's whatever, and then you just go in and win the game with Rebel Assault. Like that's all you need to do.
It's got it doesn't seem like it seems like there's about 20 ways to win this turn.
I don't even think Echo Caverns is worth doing there, honestly. Like, just spend the 2 on the Cloud City and attack. What am I gonna do? I mean, I already spent my Force Choke like an idiot. If I hadn't spent the Force Choke, this turn would actually be a lot more difficult for Dennis. I can't believe I spent that Force Choke. Like, really, if he Clouds the Operative Sphere and just attacks any of my Imperial commands with it, I lose.
Yeah.
This is out the window, game over.
Well, that's why you hold Force Choke. You had the right idea, you just didn't see it through the finish
I got giddy,
line.
man. I don't know what I was doing.
Playing like the light side over here.
Man,
Dennis
I'll
probably
tell you,
overthinking this turn a little bit, but easy to do in this kind of a situation.
I'll tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, I'm just happy I got that out of 11.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a miracle. There it is. Operative. Man, if I'd left that ISP liaison, guess what?
Would have been the wrong choice, and that's something certainly to consider.
Oh, my Lord.
Reconnaissance mission.
What is he doing? I mean, he needs to do 1 damage, right? And he's got black blast damage. And there's no way Mahdi can do anything about it. Because he has Rebel Assault.
Yeah.
So
it's still the least optimal move, but it's good enough, I feel like. I mean, is it possible for you to have 5 heat of battles?
No. This is game. That's all there is to it. That Rebel Assault draw. I cannot believe I gave him that Rebel Assault.
I think you might have won that game otherwise.
Unbelievable. Well, I hope it doesn't cost me. It will. Dennis always gets the last laugh.
Always. All right. What a toss there. Yeah, get in there.
It's fantastic. I just remember feeling so grateful to have gotten the dial to 11.
Now, if you didn't know these decks so well, what if you're just sitting on an Imperial Suppression or something, just waiting for that Rebel Assault?
Oh, man, that'd be so great.
I've done that to the game-winning Assault from Dennis a few times before, and it feels great. Suppressed.
5, 6.
7 with a heat.
You got 7 with a heat, and the world didn't care.
Yeah. Guess what, Zach? Doesn't matter.
And is there a suppression? Is there a suppression?
That's the question. There's not.
There's not.
It's not in that deck.
Yeah, I knew that.
No, I didn't win the edge battle, so 1 focus here.
Running it down anyway, playing it clean, which I like.
He could have just told me it was over.
Now that you're not running, right?
Boom.
Could not for him.
He could have. He could have also just stolen damage from Vader.
Yeah.
That's what. Didn't matter if there's Rebel Assault or not.
Wild, man. All right, so Dial is at 11. Game goes to Dennis, so we're going to pick it back up with the second game of this match. And you're going to have to win as the light side
and keep him to less than 11.
His Dial gets to 11, which is actually not a bad play.
11's as high as you can get without winning.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed some insight. It's rare that we get to actually have the person in the game comment on what they're doing. So thanks for that, Zach. We're going to go to Game 2 of Dennis and Zach here to see who claims the championship in the Winter League of 2014. Catch us there, and if you want to check out the live stream Tuesday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do stream our Star Wars tournaments every single week. So join us there and hang out. We'll see you at the next game.